know that we have established beyond any doubt that most intelligence and military experts in the USA believe the terror threat from Muslim fanatics is getting worse. Also, that the Obama administration does not have an effective strategy to deal with the situation. Yesterday on Capitol Hill, Michael Steinbach, big shot in the FBI's counterterrorism division, was asked about ISIS.
So the message I'm getting from you here today is that you feel like we've got that under control or doing the best we can?
We don't have it under control. Absolutely, we're doing the best we can. If I were to say that we had it under control, then I would say I knew of every single individual traveling. I don't, and I don't know every person there, and I don't know everyone coming back. So it's not even close to being under control.
And according to our information, that is true. The ISIS terror killers now control thousands of square miles in Syria and Iraq, have now expanded into Libya and Egypt, and their assassins freely travel all over the world. So it is just a matter of time until they show up here. Now, to be fair, no president can protect this country with a 100% certainty. It's impossible. But for nearly a year, President Obama has dithered and evaded the growing threat from ISIS. However, now, after executing 4 Americans and setting a Jordanian pilot on fire, critical mass has been reached. That kind of personal violence puts pressure on Barack Obama to do something. And a new Fox News poll demonstrates that pressure. When asked, does the Obama administration have a clear strategy for defeating ISIS, just 19% of registered voters say yes. An astounding 73% say no. When asked, is the federal government reducing the threat of terrorism from Islamic extremists, 67% of Americans say the feds are not doing a good job in that. However, when asked, do you approve or disapprove of President Obama's policy on terrorism, 42% actually approve, 53% disapprove. Now, that makes no sense. But here's why the answer was put forth. There are a number of Americans who simply will not say anything negative about President Obama himself. So when his name, not the Obama administration, but his name, appears in a poll question, the results are skewed. Most folks understand Islamic terrorism is not being dealt with aggressively right now. They know the president is hesitant to even define the threat. Yet they retain an emotional bond with Barack Obama. So that's what you're seeing there. Finally, Talking Points believes that President Obama is gambling with his own legacy. If the USA sustains another terror attack by Muslims, his entire presidential profile will be ruined. Do you think Barack Obama even understands that? I'm not sure. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight reaction, joining us from Boynton Beach, Florida, Dr. Jonathan Schanzer from the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. And from Washington, Simon Rosenberg, president of NDN, a center-left think tank. So where am I going wrong here, Mr. Rosenberg?
Well, first of all, I don't think the president has dithered. We've had thousands of airstrikes. There are thousands of American troops in Iraq. There's a coalition of 60 countries that are working together to go after and degrade ISIS, as the president says. And now what he's going to do, Bill, what you want. He's going to do more. And what he's doing now is he's asked Congress to join him to show the resolve that the President of the United States is together with our Congress, unified towards a new strategy that will carry us forward for the next 3 years. And I don't
think that's going to pass. But let me just challenge a couple of your remarks. You say the president has not dithered, okay? How does a terror organization conquer thousands of miles of territory in 2 nations, Syria and Iraq, unopposed? How does that happen if you're not dithering? Now, after they conquered the thousands, after they're occupying Mosul and other big towns, after they're executing thousands of civilians, raping women, abusing little girls, yes, then finally he said, we'll use air power. But on his watch, and I'm sure you know this, Mr. Rosenberg, on his watch, ISIS was allowed to go unchecked for probably 7 or 8 months. Go ahead.
These are sovereign nations, both Syria and Iraq. I think that the president did not want to start a third Iraq war and reinvade a country that we've already invaded twice.
Okay, and that's his decision.
Right.
That's his decision. But look what has happened by that decision.
Right, but these are sovereign nations. We were invited in by the Iraqi government. We are now in Iraq with troops and airstrikes every day. And now we're going to show the world that there's a unified United States Congress and the President, I hope, will be able to pass something together
to show
that we have a common strategy.
We're actually investigating. We'll have it with Charles Krauthammer. Yeah. It's not what you would think it is, this War Act of Congress. All right, let's go to you, Mr. Schanzer. My dilemma here is to define for the American people what should be done, not just a carp on President Obama. That gets us nowhere. But when I saw this poll that only, 19% of registered voters, that cuts across everywhere, Mr. Rosenberg, say that he's doing well in the ISIS thing, the American people get it. But you know who doesn't get it? President Obama. Why?
Well, Bill, I think one of the reasons why is the president determined even before ISIS came into existence that he wasn't going to go to war with it. He determined up front that he was going to get us out of all the old wars, prevent us from getting into new ones. And so he has just been reticent not only to get back into Iraq or to wade into Syria, but he just didn't want to open up any new fronts. And so that has been, I think, what has been hindering him from the start. He's ambivalent about the whole thing. He doesn't want to call it militant Islam. He calls it violent extremism. He has an overall approach that is reticent, and that is not how you win wars, and it's ultimately what is bringing him down.
But he himself believes his strategy is going to defeat ISIS. Would you concede that?
I'm not sure that he is himself convinced. I mean, that's why he continues to talk about...
That's what Axelrod said. That's what they all say. He's convinced, and I don't believe for a second this 60-nation coalition is anything other than a paper play. They're not doing anything. But one more question for you, Mr. Schanzer. I'm going to give you the last word, Mr. Rosenberg. Isn't it true that President Bush may have overreacted to the terror threat by invading Iraq in particular, and that is giving President Obama some cover for underreacting to it?
Well, look, I think there's been a real debate about this. And, of course, I think when you look at the way that the United States conducted the war in Iraq, it led to a mess. I think it's undeniable now that it was a mess. And people point to that overreaction as a huge part of the problem.
That's what President Obama uses all day long in almost every speech.
Right, but now, Bill, if you look at the number of dead, for example, in Syria by underreacting, looking at that 210,000 people that have been killed thus far, and the rise of ISIS through the underreaction of President Obama, I think we now come to the conclusion that the American people need to be governed on foreign policy from the middle, and that's what we're looking for right now. It's what I'll look for in 2016, to say the least.
Okay, last question, Mr. Rosenberg. You know, you have this Boko Haram crew in Africa. They're running wild, murdering people every single day. You have ISIS running wild in the two theaters in Syria and Iraq. You have Yemen, the Marines had to leave all their weapons and get out of there. That's out of control. You have the Taliban and Al-Qaeda still operating in theaters all over the place. You can't say that the Obama administration has an effective anti-terror strategy. You can't.
I think the most important thing we can do going forward, Bill, is that we've got to focus on ISIS. They are the greatest threat. I think the president is asking Congress to join him and asking the Republicans. He's going to the Republican Party and saying, this is my plan. What do you want to do? Let's have a debate. Right. Let's do this together. That's what I think it's showing great deference to the Republicans.
Now, tomorrow I'm going to say it again.
Yeah.
We are going to tell you what exactly the plan is so that Americans can know whether they think it's good or bad. Gentlemen, good debate. Thank you.